What's up, everybody? Once again, it is I, James, coming to you from the Nerdy Mewzings Podcast studio. Today, I am super excited to be joined by Mr. Bong Abad. How you doing today, Bong?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. I understand this is your first podcast.
Yes, indeed, man. It is.
I'm feeling the pressure already. I'm going to make it a good one. Don't worry.
I'll try not to look nervous.
I was reflecting on how I first learned about you, and I'm a little embarrassed to say when I saw your pictures from Comic-Con and everything, and I believe you tagged Sonny Chargaloff on there. Didn't you meet up with
Yes,
Sonny? Yeah.
yes,
And I saw him and you in the story, and then I'm like, I remember that name, but I can't
yes.
place where that person's name is from. And then I
Yeah,
finally realized that it was because we're both in the BJJ artist group that Mirkatsu started over on Facebook.
yes.
It only took me
Yeah.
like a week to put that together.
Good thing you didn't mistake me of Merkatsu or something.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been mistaken a few times,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Well, I mean, you got similar glasses and stuff and everything. So, and you're both
Yeah.
martial arts guys, both BJJ guys.
Yeah.
So, speaking of BJJ, how long have you been training now?
I started around, I think, end of 2011. So
Okay.
technically, it's about 2012.
Yeah.
So that would be what, 12 years now? Almost 12 years.
Man, I'm telling you, it
Yeah,
flies by, doesn't it?
it does, man. It does.
You have a black belt, right? You got your black belt not too long ago,
Yeah,
or
I got it 3 years ago. I'm
3
actually first
years?
degree now.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna
I
be
just got
surprised
promoted
how quickly it goes.
quickly. Yeah, yeah.
I'm uh I'm on my 19th year, and my professor is going to be
Oh
flying
my
out
God.
next month and doing
Oh,
my promotion for my fifth degree. And
wow.
I remember like yesterday getting my first degree. I'm like, how has
Yeah,
it
right.
been this many years already?
I know, I know. I got my first degree not long ago. It's like a month ago,
Nice,
and I was like,
congrats.
wait a minute, that's 3 years already?
Yeah.
That went so quick, man.
Isn't it
That went
still
so quick.
exciting? Like even me now to this day, when I look down and see that I achieved that black belt in a very difficult martial art to achieve rank in, it's just still really cool. Like, oh, I'm a black belt in jujitsu. Like I still
I
have that
still can't
feeling
believe
all
it
these years
myself.
later, you know?
Yeah, I still can't believe it myself, man. I just my aim when I started jiu-jitsu just to be a purple belt.
Yeah,
Because when at the gym there was a purple belt that came, and it's like, holy guacamole.
yeah.
She's pretty cool. I just want to be just like that. That's it. That was my aim.
When I was coming
And
up, training with a purple belt was very rare, and it was
hmm
every bit as grandiose and special as if you got to train with a black belt, because you never
yeah,
saw purple belts. I remember a couple of the people coming in, and it's just like you said, you're like, wow, these guys are like masters of this already,
yeah,
compared to a
yeah, man.
white belt. So
Yeah. My first instructor was a purple belt, actually, when we
nice.
started the gym.
I was actually a purple belt when I very first started teaching as well. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
that's
just
nice.
because of circumstance wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't the plan or anything. It just ended up happening that way. So
Uh-huh.
it all
I
worked
think
out.
purple belt is a good belt for people to start,
Well, they always
teaching
joke
actually.
that purple belts know everything, right? It's like the stereotype.
Well, they do everything. Not
Yeah,
necessarily know everything, but they try to do
exactly.
everything.
They know a lot of things, a little bit about a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, were you a martial artist prior to getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Uh, I guess you can say I was back in first year college. Did actually Aikido. That was
Okay.
popular back then. That was back in
Super
the 90s
popular.
when Steven
Yeah.
Seagal was very famous. And I was like, oh
Yes.
shit, he kicks ass. So I said, I'll do that. So
Was
I
it
enrolled in
the knife fight scene in Under Siege
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 man.
That was awesome. It
Yeah,
still
but I
stands
did
out in
that
my head.
for I did that for a few years, and then when I moved to England, I stopped literally training, any training of any kind,
Yeah.
and I only got back into martial arts again when I saw Jason Bourne, Born Identity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with Jason Bourne, and I was like, wait a minute, that looks familiar, but I don't know what it is. And
Yeah,
then I
they had
found out
some
that
really great
he actually
choreography.
trained Kali, which is Eskrima, which is Philippine martial arts. I was like, wait a minute, I should know that. I'm Filipino, I should know that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, so I that's when my interest in martial arts kind of uh, came back, and I looked for a gym, and I found one and started there
Now,
learning Kali.
what led you to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Because Aikido is kind of a, pretty big departure from BJJ.
Well, when I was training in Kali, my teacher is actually an affiliate of CSW.
Okay.
Yeah, what's his name? Paulson,
Yep, Eric Paulson.
Eric Paulson.
Hmm.
Yeah, and with Eric Paulson, he does everything. Same
Yes.
thing as with Danny Nisando, like Kali, Muay Thai, wrestling, and BJJ.
Yep.
So my teacher started incorporating grappling in our training, and I said, I can't do this. I don't know what it is. And it's like, maybe you should start jujitsu. It's like, jujitsu. Like, yeah, we should start it. And then eventually I found a gym near my place that teaches jiu-jitsu. And I said, well, I might as well try. So I did. And before that, actually, uh, I tried Muay Thai as well. And I thought that was like, oh man, this is so hard. I
Yeah,
did that for
super,
like maybe 2 years, I think.
super
And I was
difficult.
kind of old and it's like, this is
Yeah.
hard. I want something effective, but something, I can train like regularly. And that's another aspect of jiu-jitsu that kind of
Yeah.
convinced me to train, as you can say that. So from there, I started doing jiu-jitsu and literally never went back doing Kali
You've
or
been
Muay
doing it
Thai.
ever since.
I just did jiu-jitsu. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Now, obviously, I'm into martial arts, but a lot of the people I have on are also artists. So every so
Hmm.
often we get somebody who's an artist who's in martial arts. That's happened quite a few times on here. So, what do you think it is that attracts artistic minded people to martial arts? I mean, obviously, in the name martial arts, it is an art form.
It is
Is
an
it?
art, yeah.
Yeah, it's an art. You think it's the challenge and the growth and all these different things that attracts people of that mindset to it?
Yeah, I think so. And also in martial arts, yeah, there is that oh, creative expression that
Yeah,
you can. Although we are being taught the same kind of thing, but there's always an avenue to be creative and make it your own. Especially
yeah,
jiu-jitsu. That's what I find. Jiu-jitsu is for me, it's a self-expression of you or what you want to do. And I think that's the most common denominator for artists who's into martial arts.
yeah, I agree. Definitely that freedom of expression and creativity is a big part of it. So it probably those of us with the artistic mindset are probably attracted to that.
Hmm.
It definitely makes a lot of
Definitely.
sense. Now, you said you're from the Philippines.
Yes. I was born and raised in the
Yes.
Philippines. I moved
So do
to
you
England.
know
Yeah.
you moved to England? How long ago did you move to England?
Oh, that's over 20 years ago. I moved there around
Okay.
1999, 2000, for work, obviously. I'm a nurse, so opportunity kind of came about that time, so I moved there. And then
Gotcha.
moved in California in 2014. So I've been moving around.
Did you you've been around the world a little bit, huh? Did you ever get to catch up with Will Spertaccio or Lionel Yu or any of those guys?
Lionel Yu actually, I could say is a friend of mine. Uh,
Nice.
We met in
Also
the
a BJJ
Philippines.
guy that draws comics
Yes,
and does art.
I think he's a purple belt now. He got his purple
Yep,
belt
he
not so
is.
long ago. Yeah,
Yep.
we met way before he was Lionel you, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in this small community of artists in the Philippines. He was mentored by Wills Portacio back then
Yes.
when Portacio went back to the Philippines, and we met during that time. At the same time I was moving to England, so we kind of only
Gotcha.
reconnected like not so long ago. And Wills Portacio, I see him every every San Diego Con. I always make time to come and see him at his booth.
Yes.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Man,
Big
he's so
influence
awesome.
actually.
I just finished a art course that he put on through comic book boot camp, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
did
yeah,
one of the online courses that he just taught
yeah.
recently. I'd done one with Ryan Benjamin, and now I
Uh-huh.
had the opportunity to learn one from Wills, and it was
From
pretty
Wells.
mind blowing. The guy has
He's
just a
awesome
ton of
too.
knowledge.
His style is so good. The first time I saw his work, I was like, who? What the hell? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then that time the book I was looking at was Uncanny X-Men 290,
Yep.
uh, where you got Colossus back of the looking back at the camera, and at
Yes.
the back there's a Philippine flag, but it's
I know
flipped.
exactly. I know
And I
exactly
was
what
like,
one you're talking about.
said, wait a minute, that's a Filipino flag. And then I look at his name, it's like Wills Pratash. Ah, he must be
Yep.
Filipino.
Yep.
So since then, it's like, all right, great, came back and then look all of these Uncanny X-Men issues. I just collected everything he did
Yeah,
back
me
then.
too, man. I still have all my Wills collection. I still downstairs. I love that stuff. I look at it for inspiration all the time.
Of course, yeah, man, he's so good.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that the character Bishop that he created was supposed to be Filipino originally when he initially designed Bishop.
Yeah, that's from interviews. He did say that he was supposed to be Filipino, but back
Yep.
then I didn't think the editors was kind of convinced that a
Yeah.
Filipino character will become popular.
Right, right. Yeah, it's so cool
Fair
to
enough. I
get
mean,
to.
Bishop is actually cool,
Oh, he's super cool. Yeah.
even though he's not Filipino. Yeah,
Yeah.
he
No, it
did
was
he did create a Filipino character though
was that
in Wetworks.
yes,
Grail.
yes. Grail, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my copy some of my reader copies of Wetworks over on my spinner rack in the other corner of this room. You have all sorts of cool stuff in the background. You have some original art on the wall there?
Yes. Well, uh, this one is actually Lionel Yu, but
Nice.
it's an ink by Alan over his blue pencils. So it's not the original pencil, but that's how they work, like kind of
Still.
in the later years.
Yeah.
But still, it's yeah.
Yeah,
I got it
I'm
before.
still jealous.
I got a couple of them actually. There's another one upstairs. There's others are not displayed, but I do like collecting original art. And back then it was cheap, bro.
Oh, I'm telling you, I was just talking to my
Not now.
last guest about all the Invincible pages I picked up from Ryan Otley back in the day,
Yeah.
and how cheap they were. And now it's crazy. You can't touch
No,
any of
it's
that
crazy.
stuff.
I cannot afford one now.
No, ever since
Yeah.
he got with Marvel and got even more famous, and then they made Invincible into
Yeah.
the Amazon cartoon. And I'm like,
No,
man, I'm glad I got
that's
as
it.
much of it as I did back then.
Yeah, I actually managed to get a double page of Wetworks.
Nice.
Yeah, from I got it from Scott Williams actually. He was selling a lot of originals
Very cool.
at the Comic Con, and yeah, I was lucky to get that. That was pretty cool. I'm not
Yeah. No,
giving
you
that away
gotta
or anything.
keep
I'm
that
keeping
forever,
that.
man. Keep it
Yeah,
forever. Yeah,
Yeah,
Scott's an amazing artist too now. He's doing a lot more
he
of his own
is.
artwork. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate his skills more now
Yeah.
compared to back then because I started like trying to ink and just for exercise.
Yeah.
And I tried to ink Jim Lee. I was like, I don't know how Scott does this.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
hard.
it's a whole
It's so
different
hard.
ball game. You look at Jim's
Yeah,
pencils and how
yeah,
much he leaves open for interpretation.
yeah. It's
It's
very
crazy.
loose. Yeah, you would think Jim would pencil really tight, but if you look at his pencils, these pencils are so loose. And like what you said, there's it's open for interpretation.
Very much.
And
Yeah.
Scott just does a really good job just
Yeah.
putting
I-
those black and white lines in there.
I'm assuming you're as excited as I am at the announcement of the new Hush series that
I
Jim Lee's
know,
doing next
man.
year.
I could not believe Jim would still be doing a monthly book or at
Me
least a
either.
mini series.
Yeah.
I thought it was like he's too busy to do that. And then suddenly the news came
Yeah.
like, what? No way.
Rumor is that he's been working on it for like a few years now.
Maybe 5, 10 years.
I heard like 3 years supposedly, but
Well, good
I
for
think he
him.
probably got a little
Yeah, well,
inspiration
that's
seeing.
exciting.
I think he probably got a little inspiration seeing Silvestri's Batman stuff. He's probably like, man, I got to go
Oh
show
yeah,
Mark
yeah,
up.
yeah. I've got the book, a Mark's book, but I haven't
Yeah.
read it. I
Oh,
haven't read.
dude, it's just
Yeah, but
the art.
it looks awesome though.
The art alone. Yeah. I don't go
Yeah.
into most books looking for the story. I'm just looking at the art and trying to understand
Same
what
here.
they're doing, you know.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, like art is good. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I
Now,
mean, a good story is just a bonus.
did you always collect comics since a young age, or was that something you got into in your teenage years? Like, how did you come about getting into comic books?
Um, a friend of mine in college collected comic books, and because I was still in the Philippines back then, obviously, and comics is expensive in the Philippines, so I couldn't actually buy as much as I wanted to. But he was the
Right.
one who encouraged me, like, yo, just try this and try that. And I started with he loved the X-Men. That's how I got introduced to Uncanny X-Men by Wills.
Nice.
So yeah, I started collecting back then. Probably I was, I don't know, 16, 17.
Okay.
And then up until the the image crash in the
Right.
90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so I stopped then and then I was in England that time, so I just stopped. And I got back into it when I don't know, maybe like mid 2000 maybe.
Okay.
Uh, that time I was looking at Hellspawn by Ashley Wood,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, holy this is really good.
Yeah,
So
another great one.
yeah, and got me interested again in comics, reading
Yeah.
that and looking at Ashley Wood's art. So yeah, I went back at it again, and some issues I missed during the 90s, during the whatever you call that crash, I tried to pick it up.
The comic stock market crash
Yeah, yeah, that was
when
fun.
everybody thought they were gonna
Yeah.
have their retirement off of selling all the comics.
I did think like that back then. It's
Most of
like I
us
had
did,
like
man.
yeah, I had a few issues that have two number ones, stuff like that, but
Hmm.
nothing happened.
No,
It's still like
no.
you can still find them in a dollar bin.
Yeah. Now you end up going to San Diego Comic Con quite a bit, right? Do you try to make a yearly trip there? How many times have you been?
I've been in SECC almost every year since I moved here.
Wow.
So from 2015. So I've been going over 10 years now.
Dang. My first year was
Yeah.
2016, I believe, and that's the only time I've gotten to go. So I've got to go one time, but it was an
Yeah.
amazing, amazing experience.
It is. It is a pretty amazing if you manage to come and and see SDCC.
Yeah,
However, it's very tiring though.
it
Very
is.
tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially now, it's like what, 4.5 days? It
Yep.
used to be three, they made it four, and then they added the half
Yep. They
on
have like the
that Wednesday,
preview
the
night or
preview.
whatever and all of that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's gonna end up like being a whole day in
Yeah,
the
I'm
next few
sure.
years or so.
Yeah, it seems to grow every year. Every time I see people posting from there is more and more stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, Hopefully it will stay in San Diego. There was a rumor that they're gonna move it somewhere else, but
Mm,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I hope it
I
stays
don't know.
somewhat close.
Yeah, but it won't be SDCC, won't it?
Oh, exactly. They got to rebrand.
Yeah, they have to rebrand and stuff.
One of the
I mean,
biggest standout memories from going to that was I got to meet Kim Jung-gi, and I have
oh,
some of his books with he did the
yeah,
drawing in there for me and
yeah.
everything, and it's like prized treasures.
Maybe he's the only artist that I get so starstruck, man. I saw
Yeah.
him. I don't know how long ago when he started going to SDCC, and I saw him. And I was like, I was just in front looking. Just he's always sketches. He just
Yep.
sketches all the time. He doesn't stop.
Constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had the courage to say hi. I'm Bong. Nice to meet you, kid.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I wish I did, man. I wish I did,
Just being in
but now
his
I can't.
presence, though, still, like, that's
Yeah,
still special. Like a true master.
yeah. He's amazing. I don't know how his brain works.
No, he had
That's
to have some
literally,
sort of photographic memory or something going on
he
there.
must. Yeah, he must have. He must have
Yeah.
that level of detail and that level of skill.
Yeah. Just
It's
straight out of
amazing.
his head.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. Perfect perspective, not just
Yeah.
3 point perspective, but a fish eye perspective.
Yeah. That was
Freehand.
insane. Yeah.
That is insane. That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally another
Gone way
level.
too soon, man. That was such a
I know.
heartbreaking situation.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. When I heard it's like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, and then I was so upset because people were right away training AI to produce stuff to try to look like his, like literally like within days of him passing away.
Oh, I haven't seen those actually,
Yeah,
but
I didn't
there are
see.
images
I
out
think it
there.
might have
Oh,
gotten shut down pretty quick because people were so
uh-huh.
upset and they went after him. But yeah, they were trying to put out Kim Jong Gi. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it looked pretty good, but you could tell it wasn't actually his. But still, like
Yeah,
the
but
fact
there's
that
like
they
six
were,
fingers or something.
yeah, you can always tell with the hands, right? But yeah, they were doing that like within days of him passing away. They were plugging a bunch of his stuff into one of those AI things and training it on his work and all of that. Because like
Um,
you can definitely tell like the artists that they use for those.
yeah,
You can see like Art Germ and Alex Ross's stuff. You can tell they plugged a lot of that stuff into those AI models, and because a lot of the work has that look to it.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, these are the popular artists. These are, you know,
Yeah,
and they're very distinct in their style. But when you see them, it's like oh, this is Art Gem, oh, this is
yeah.
Alex Ross. So yeah,
Well,
it's
now
just sad
I
that
want
these
to
people are.
transition and talk a little bit about your art career and how you got
Oh,
started in art. Were you
I'm not sure if
formally
I have a
trained?
career though.
Ah, come on.
Say, say again.
Did did you have any formal training? Did you do traditional training, go to school for art, any of
N-
that kind of stuff?
No, I never went to art school. I wish I did. Mostly I learned through textbooks and just watching people on how they
Yeah,
do stuff. Now I'm learning through YouTube,
I'm
just like
telling
everybody
you.
does. Yeah,
I would
but
have
back
killed for
then,
that resource when I was younger.
right, right, exactly. Now, before it's just books. You go to a library, you look for books for an anatomy, composition, and stuff. You have to
Yeah,
read like a
how to
bunch
draw
of
comics the
books.
Marvel way.
How'd you talk comics on Marvel way? Yep, exactly, exactly. Watching video,
Yeah.
there's like a bootleg edition of the How to Draw Comics the Marvel way back then. It was like so grainy, and it was like,
Oh
I bought
man.
it, I watched it, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now you can just pop on
and
YouTube and watch the whole thing.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so I'm mostly self-taught. I not really self-taught, but I have other
Yeah.
people showing me, so that's not actually self-taught. It's
Yeah.
just so
Not in
happened
a
that
not in
then
a
other people,
classroom setting, but
yeah, not in a
pulling
classroom
from
way.
the resources available to
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've been doing that since I don't know, elementary grade, just copying stuff,
Yeah.
watching a lot of cartoons, Saturday cartoons, reading a lot of comics, I guess.
It's my cartoon
Uh,
inspiration. This is jujitsu and
yeah.
cartoon. Show your roll with Bumblebee.
Ah, nice,
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah, that's
nice.
from
I
that
couldn't recognize it, and
yeah, it's
I,
Bumblebee and inside the Show Your Roll logo. They did that
ah,
collab with Hasbro,
Transform.
officially licensed for Transformers.
Ah,
They did the geese, and they, in fact, that year that I went to San Diego, they had a gi that you could only get in person at the Hasbro booth,
I think I was
limited
there that time.
edition. Yeah,
I was there. I'll
people were
tell you a
going
story,
nuts.
but I'll tell you a story about that, but off camera.
Okay, okay, yeah, definitely. We'll chat off air. I actually paid somebody to stand in line for me because it was the
Oh,
one
did
day,
you?
yeah, it was the one day I couldn't go. And
Uh-huh.
so I was like, oh man, I don't want to miss out. And I knew they were only going to have like one A5 because normally with limited edition stuff like that,
Yeah.
they only make one or two A5s, my size, the biggest size. And so the guy tried to get me one, and all he could get was like an A2 or something. And then I get home from the trip, and a few days later, a box from Show Your Roll shows up, and it's the one A5 they had made of that one.
Oh,
They
nice.
surprised me.
Oh, nice, nice. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty cool. But I was like stressing trying to get it and get my hands
So
on one.
you always been sponsored by Show Your Roll?
I've been sponsored by them since around 2008. So quite a long
Oh,
time.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Good
cool.
group of people. I like the people behind the brand. So, yeah, I've stayed aligned with them for quite a while now. It's definitely my
Yeah.
longest running sponsor that I've had in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, cool. Nice. Good brand.
So I noticed this 3D model rotating around there in
Just
the
rotating. That's
background.
a good promotion.
I like
Yeah,
it. Tell me more about this.
this is a project I'm hoping um to do or at least finish next year. This is a dragon uh Sufubi toy, which is similar to what these are.
Oh, that's really cool.
So this will be, I don't know if it's gonna be Japan release only, or will it be a kind of worldwide release? I don't know yet. We're still like kind of in talks on how to forgo with it.
Yeah.
Apart from this, toy will be a gi
Oh, very
that we'll be
cool.
doing. Yeah, I haven't done a gi for a long time. I haven't designed a gi, I don't know, long time, 10
Yeah.
years, I guess. So I'll be doing a limited edition gi that will come with the toy, or maybe not with the toy, but just a
Okay.
regular gi.
Maybe an
So
exclusive or something.
yeah, so I haven't, to be honest, I haven't started with the gi yet, but I have ideas what to do.
Right.
Um, so hopefully in early next year I'll be able to like show stuff from this project. I hope.
That would be really
I'm
cool.
excited.
Yeah. Well, definitely we'll have to
Yeah.
have you back on when you get that together so we can let
Oh,
everybody
that would
know.
be a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Now, was your goal in art, being inspired by comics and everything, was your goal to get into comics initially with your artwork? Has that kind of been
I
your
did,
plan or?
yeah, I did when I was obviously in high school, college,
Yeah.
and seeing Will's Portagio's art on Uncanny X-Men. I was like, oh, I want to be like that. I want to draw for
I
a
just
living,
noticed you have
especially.
the storm cover in the
Oh,
background there too.
yes, I just got that from SDCC this year.
Nice. That's a
He
good
made
one.
a limited edition. Yeah, it's kind of, I would say nostalgic for me. because that's the
Mm-hmm.
very first book I have of Wheels Potasher. So it's
Nice.
kind of cool. Yeah. What was the question again?
About getting into comic art and
Comics.
being a comic book artist, if that was kind of your
Yes.
goal initially.
Yeah. So I did, though I wanted to, I never actually tried to send any portfolio. I was
Okay.
always like, this is not good enough. I'm not good enough.
Right.
But however, I did like a self-published comic book back in the Philippines, a black and white uh, self-published book. I did an issue, and then I did a couple kind of anthology
Okay.
for some independent publisher here in the States. This is way, way back, but
Yeah.
never really. Um, Although we pitched a book to Arcana, I don't know if they still exist. They probably
I
do.
know that company. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're still
Yeah,
around.
I'm not sure. So we did pitch a book to Arcana, but it was rejected.
Oh man.
Yeah, but we did eventually kind of self-publish the book. So those are my comic book projects. Not not by
Yeah.
major publishers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
the landscape we're in right now, you could always kickstart something if you wanted to, if you ever got that fire and wanted to do like a
yeah,
book. I
that's
mean,
true.
yeah, I think now
Yeah,
we
I
live in a
actually
world
have
where
a
that's
yeah,
possible, you know?
I actually have a project um, of a graphic novel. Um, I wrote it like during the pandemic.
Hmm.
Pandemic makes you crazy things.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wrote this graphic novel and I showed it to a friend of mine who's an owner of an imprint called Ovation Comics.
Hmm.
Uh, they do like independent stuff. But I've known him for a long time. I showed him and he liked it and said, maybe we can do it together.
Yeah.
Saying that, it's been like a few years now. I have like concepts and stuff, but nothing on the page yet.
Is that fire
It's
still there
time, I
though?
guess.
That
Yeah,
fire still
it's still
inside you?
there.
Yeah.
And also this toy is kind of always, almost taking priority
Right,
most of the
right.
time. So every time I try to sit down and do something, it'll be like, there's a new project I need to do with the toy, so I have to do that.
Now, are
Might
you
finish
doing
anyway.
the 3D sculpts on that yourself?
Yes, I did. Yeah, most of the design I do it myself. I design, I sculpt. This one, the first one I did only the head, and then design the hands and feet. But the body is actually by a Japanese sofubi maker,
Okay.
who's released already a sofubi like this. So I thought maybe I can, try kind of launch
Hmm.
my toys through him. I didn't know the guy. He was a BJJ black belt.
Oh, there
So
you
I thought,
go.
oh, at least we have something in common,
Yeah.
right? And then I just messaged him. I mean, can you help me to make this toy? And he just literally said, yeah, sure, okay. That was it.
Perfect. That was easy.
Yeah, that was easy, fairly easy, man. I was so surprised. I
Yeah,
think the BJJ community is always like that supportive
it
to
really
each
is.
members.
Yeah, it really is. It's side tangent here. When I got to go to San Diego to the con, it was on a whim. Literally, I was down in California training at my instructor's school, and I did not realize that San Diego was going on that weekend or that week.
Uh-huh.
And when I realized and I was going to be there, I got on some jujitsu and some shoyu roll forums because you couldn't get badges or anything at that point that close to it. And I just said, hey, does anybody have a connection that could get me into San Diego? And like an hour later, I get a message from a guy who had like access and got me and sent me a link like for people that worked there or whatever. And like a friends and
Oh, cool.
family thing, you could go and get a badge and get in.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I was like,
That's awesome.
jiu-jitsu community wins again.
Yeah, 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 man. It does, it does.
Yeah, it's
Just
very
shout
cool.
and, somebody will always try to help you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
very
same.
special.
Yeah, same thing in with me here with the toys and stuff. So they've been very helpful on make and producing these.
Yeah. Now, did you meet Mirkatsu in England, or did you know him prior to that?
We met in England.
Okay.
We actually live only like 30 minutes away from each other.
Oh, wow.
So how I don't know how exactly we met. I think we met through the brand Scramble.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, yeah, because I did a job for Scramble back then, and then he also did a job for Scramble, and it's like, who is this guy? And then I don't know. I think I messaged him somehow, and then we met in a local jiu-jitsu competition in my town, and that's how we met. That was it, and then we became friends, and then
Nice.
from time to time I'll visit him at his gym,
Yeah,
and yeah, and we always meet for art stuff.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody listening to this, you guys need to bombard Merkatsu with messages and comments on his posts. Is you guys want to see him here on the podcast, man?
I'm sure he's got a
It's
lot of
gonna
stories
happen.
to tell you, man. Yeah.
I'm putting it into the universe, so now it has to happen.
I'll message him later.
So comic wise, yeah, there you go. I have an inside lane with you. Now, as far as your current collecting, are you still going out and grabbing books, or do you, like me, I switched a lot of my collecting to like comicsology and getting digital books, but I just recently started going to the shop again every so often. Do you still go into the comic store and pick up some stuff?
I go to comic store not to pick up new ones. I go to comic store to
Back
pick up old
issues?
ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
back issues. And most of the
Yeah, I'm the
stuff
same way.
that I've been buying recently are Kickstarters. So I'll try to
Nice.
support
Yeah.
those. Um, and then, and what I've been doing recently, I don't know if you noticed these books over here are,
Oh, I noticed right away.
so those old books that I have,
Oh
I
yeah,
make them
Hell
into
Shock, Jay Lee.
yeah, and then just compile them into like a book.
Oh yeah.
Then I got to design, flexing another muscle here somewhere, and got to design like all
Wow.
sorts of covers.
So you
Yeah,
actually designed
that's
that?
yes,
Wow. That's
yeah. I
amazing.
just grabbed like images from the internet
Mm-hmm.
and try to, you know, make something out of it. You read Kabuki?
Oh, I haven't, but I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, it's a book
Very
by
cool.
David Mack. He's the
Yeah.
guy who created Echo.
Yep. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, just compiling stuff and then designing covers, but not new ones. I kind of disappointed actually in some of the new comic books that I have been seeing.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
read one first issue, but I
I
don't like.
will
I
I
try
will
not to.
tell you, and
I
you're
don't
the
carry
you're
it.
the second guest I've told this to. I was very surprised by that Absolute Batman. It kind of lived up to the hype for me, and I was very
Uh-huh.
skeptical going in on it, like very
Yeah.
skeptical, and I really enjoyed it. I'm interested to see where it goes.
I might check it out actually.
Yeah,
Is
I think
Scott
I
Snyder
would
is Scott
recommend it.
Snyder writing
Yeah,
it?
yep.
Okay.
Scott Snyder's writing and Nick Dragotta is the artist on it.
Uh-huh.
Very very unique art style. So, yeah, it's cool. It got me hooked. So I'm looking forward to the second issue. See if it continues
Yeah.
to maintain that momentum that they started in the first issue.
Is this like an Earl's World kind of thing?
Yeah, but they're not calling it that. But it's clearly like a different version of Bruce Wayne, different origin story.
Hmm.
Very, very different, but familiar characters and things. Just kind of they're not in the same kind of roles that they were in previously. So it's like it's in a different universe or a different timeline or something. I think it's part of this whole event that they're doing right now, where it's alternate universes. You know how
Uh-huh.
whenever they want to fix stuff or change things
Yeah.
up, you just go multiverse or alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of those.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I
Yeah.
might check it out actually.
Yeah, you should. I think it's I was very skeptical because they were hyping it so much and like saying
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
the greatest thing. And then I was like, oh, I'll pick it up. And I did. And I was like, oh, it was actually the first. So I bought it on Comixology and read it. And then I
Uh-huh.
actually went and bought a couple physical copies of it because I enjoyed it so
People
much.
are
So,
complaining about the logo though.
but
You
see,
know that logo on his chest.
so I'll tell you without spoiling it that it's got a purpose.
A purpose.
Yeah. When you see the logo's purpose, you're going to be like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I hated that too. And then I saw what they
Yeah.
did with it and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that was actually really cool.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Check it out for sure.
Uh, yeah, like what I said, I haven't read any new books from either Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
So I did check out Dick Tracy though from is it Massive?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good art.
Massive is that who Sean Gordon Murphy publishes a lot of
I,
his stuff?
I got that too. The
Yeah.
Zorro.
I'm
Yeah, I got
waiting
that
on
too.
my. So did you order the what did you call it? Like the teacher edition or
The
whatever,
the artist
the
edition?
artist
Not
one?
artist, right?
Yeah, it's some.
No,
They gave it a different name, but it was
just a black and
super.
white.
It's supposed to have all sorts of notes and behind the scenes
Yeah.
sketches, and I still it says they're shipping them out, but I still haven't got mine, so I'm getting a little nervous.
Uh, I only got the hardbound
Yeah,
and the singles.
yeah. So
Yeah,
when
too
this
expensive for
artist
me now.
edition thing,
I spent so much already on different kind of books. I don't want
yeah.
to spend another like 100. How much was it? It was 200,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that
250?
was over. Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
200
yeah.
or more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
I'm
That's a
so
lot for
bad.
me.
I'm so bad with those. I wish I could turn my camera for you because I probably have over 20 of those big artist
The
edition, like
artist
the
editions.
IDW books and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
Jim Lee's artist edition.
Yeah, that one's on the
Who else would
X-Men
I
one's
have?
on the floor over there. See, they're on
Yeah.
the floor because I've run out of room. Like if I
It
look,
won't
look,
fit on your normal bookshelf.
watch,
It
this is
won't. It's
this
just
is a
too big.
magic trick, Bong. I'm gonna show you. I just have to turn a little bit and reach down here, and then I can.
Oh,
Yeah.
I still it's still
So I'm.
on my basket on my
Yeah.
Amazon basket. But I
And
haven't
then
had the courage to.
next to that,
Oh, I have the
Silver Surfer Buscema.
artisan edition. I have the artisan edition of that.
Yeah. Yep. See, I've started switching to the artisan editions on the ones that
Yeah.
they made those because it saves space, right? And then I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen this. It's like
Oh,
from this French company that makes these.
yeah.
Yeah,
Does
crazy.
it have everything on it? All of his work
It's
or
it's
selected?
huge. It's a lot
That's
of it.
big.
I don't think it's all of it, but it's the majority.
Yeah, I have a few Frazetta books, but they're there somewhere.
Yeah, he's
Can't
just
find them.
another up there. You got your masters, you got your legends, you got
Yeah.
your Frank Frazettas, your Kim Jung Gis. Like they're
Yes,
all up
man.
there, just on that. Like some artists, a lot of artists get up way up here, but then they're like
Yeah. So
off
there's
the
the gods and
charts.
goddesses, right?
Yeah,
There's the gods and goddesses of comics.
I put Buscema in that category too. Like he's
Oh, Bush
yeah.
speaking of Buscema, I never knew this when I was a kid. I was I read a lot of Conan back then,
Yeah.
but that was like the Savage Sword of Conan, which is supposed to be not for kids.
Yes.
But for some reason, somehow I managed to grab some of them, and I read a
Nice.
lot of them. I read a lot of them,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that that was John
Yeah. He did
until
so much work
years.
on there.
Until years later. It's like what John Buscema, and then also
Yeah.
what do you call this? Tony De Zuniga, who's
Yep.
another Filipino artist,
Yep.
who's very good,
Another wonderful artist. Yeah.
legend.
Another legend.
And it's like, yeah, and it's like, oh wow.
Well, and
So,
John inked a lot of his own stuff on those Conans too. So you're seeing like
mhm.
because he was another one like Jim who is very loose. Like if you see a lot
Yes,
of the pages he handed off, like it's so loose, and he would just let
those
the
are
inker.
literally just breakdowns,
Yeah, he did a lot of that too, right? Because he was
not even loose pencil. They're
putting
just
out like how
breakdowns.
many books a month at one point? Like he was doing
Yeah,
crazy and covers on everything, and
yes.
like I think
He's prolific. He's
workload
prolific.
wise, he was up there. I mean, nobody's gonna touch Jack Kirby as far as the output of work, but John
Yeah, yeah,
did a
yeah.
lot.
Did
He
a
was
lot.
putting out a lot of stuff.
For sure, man. For sure.
I think
I
the
have a few
main
Conan.
I was gonna say, I just think the main difference between him and Jack was doing like tight pencils on all of that and putting out a
Yes,
crazy amount of pages, and
yes.
John had to do the really loose breakdowns and have a finisher come in there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I haven't seen, well, not that I've seen a lot of it, is Jack Kirby's pencils, but every time I see one, they're so tight,
yeah.
like
There's
really
another
tight
book you
pencils.
have to get when when money is not an option. There's there's one that's I'm not going to be able to find it because I'm looking over there now, but it's a lot of his all pencils from Jack Kirby on the Demon,
Oh,
and it's like
is it an artist edition?
it's a normal sized book, like a decent sized book. It's not a giant one, but yeah, it's
Hmm.
all pencils. And there's one for gosh, I don't know if I got that one yet. I pre-ordered it for the Eternals too, where it's all his pencils from Eternals.
Is that from IDW as well, or another publisher?
Gosh, I'm not sure. I don't know why I can't see my Kirby section here. See, this is when you know you have a problem when you look
I mean,
and
you
you
can
can't.
find your own stuff.
Yeah, I know it's over there somewhere, but yeah, there's a couple different ones, and they're phenomenal. And his pencils were like super tight, like you were saying.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's why a lot of the people that inked him get so much grief. Like a lot of people don't like certain inkers on Jack's stuff because they
yeah,
knew
yeah,
how
yeah.
tight, like he was giving all the
How tight
information, and
the
then
pencils
you chose to ignore it.
to change it.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't think Jack is that kind of person who complain about his inkers, though. I never
No,
read anything Jack complaining about his inkers, unlike
not at
John
all.
Buscema.
Yeah, yeah, John was definitely more vocal about that.
John complain about everyone.
Yeah. Now, you're working on the figures, you're doing your 3D sculpting and everything, potentially a gi design coming up. Any other plans that you can share of things that you have on the future docket for yourself?
Phew. Uh, I think those ones are will make me really, really busy already, you know. I do have one that's coming up maybe early next year,
Okay,
which is a cute version of my character Calabao. I've been showing a little bit of preview on Instagram,
nice.
so that would be the early release. We'll get an early release, and hopefully, like what I said, this year, mid-year maybe or fall.
Yeah,
Um, Hopefully, I'll get to do my comic book eventually
that's what
if I
I'm
get the
petitioning
time.
for, man. That's what I want to see. Yeah, I
That would
think
be
it's
nice.
important to not let that dream kind of go away, you know? Like me, I'm
Yeah,
so busy running my jiu-jitsu academy and everything else I do that originally I wanted to be a professional comic book artist, and I
Uh,
let that dream did not end up happening, but I still practice. I still practice each day as if that could happen, even though I
yeah,
know
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
Of
have the
course.
time for it to happen, but it's like, you never know. Somebody might want me to do a pinup or something, like, you know, just keep the skills polished and try to get better. And if something comes from it, great, but don't let that skill diminish, right?
Yeah, of course, man. Speaking of pinup, it was a very proud moment for me when. Do you remember the image title called Bum Queen?
Yes.
I did a pinup for that.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I, I sent it off to Jim Valent. Was it Jim Valentino or somebody
I
else?
think so.
And send it's like, and then it's like, yeah, we print it. It was great. My
Nice.
very first international published work, Bum Queen.
That's awesome. You
That was
just
it.
never know, right?
Yeah,
Just never know.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we
yeah.
live in an age where we have so much more access to these individuals, and
Right?
you can get your work seen a lot
Hmm.
easier, but I think it's a double-edged sword because that means that everyone
Everyone else
else is
too.
doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's thinking the same thing, wanting to do the same thing.
And I
Yeah,
don't know
definitely
about
it's more competition now.
yeah, and
Definitely.
I don't know about you, but when I go on Instagram, it seems like every other day some new artist is getting recommended to me whose work is phenomenal that I'm not
Hmm.
currently following, and all I follow is comic book artists, and I'm like, how is
Yeah,
this person not super famous, man? Their stuff's like 10
exactly.
times better than half of what you're seeing on the market.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't get it either. I've seen so many very good, even
Yeah.
phenomenal artists. They could barely get work. I was
Yeah.
like, what do you mean you don't get work? I was
Like, are
like,
you
these are
familiar with Robert Willis? Do you follow him?
no.
Okay, on Instagram, when we get off here, you have to look up his handle is at who is Rob Willis, and his
Uh-huh.
work is insane. And it's just like he does commissions and stuff, and he might do like a little, he might be doing like a self-published thing or a Kickstarter eventually. But
Yeah.
it's like, how are you not the top guy at
I
Marvel or DC right now?
yeah,
Like if we were in
I
the
know.
'90s, he would be the top guy at Marvel or DC right
Exactly.
now.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know, man. Connection, I guess.
I think what one of the artists was saying to me is that Marvel, well, I won't say Marvel specifically, but let's just say big publishers are afraid of making it too much about the artist and the art because they
Ah,
don't want another what happened with Image where everybody leaves and starts their own thing. They're like trying to
yeah.
prevent that from happening again. Like, don't make rock stars out of these guys and gals like you did, and then they go and take half your business away.
No.
So somebody was telling me that was their
Really?
theory on why we don't see, like, because think about it, you don't see runs on books anymore where an artist is on the same book for a long period of time
Yeah,
either,
yeah, that's true.
right?
They
And that
only have them for like 3 or 4
yep,
issues and
and that
just
was
at least
part
a
of their
story
their
arc.
theory of why that's occurring, why nobody's doing runs anymore was
Yeah,
it has to do with not making it so much about the artist.
but, mm,
So I don't know.
partly maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
These
I still
were
follow Jim Lee, whatever he does. I
so
still follow.
these were like pros too that were saying this, like people
Oh,
in the
okay,
know. So I'm like,
okay,
okay, well maybe they know what they're talking about. I don't know.
yeah, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
could be
there's even
the
the pros. There are like some good pros out there that I really admire, like Dave Johnson,
yeah,
Tommy Lee Edwards. They don't get assignments a lot.
no,
They don't get much project, right?
yeah,
But their stuff are phenomenal.
very. Have you seen? I just thought of this because I watched it last night. Have you seen that Mike Mignola documentary yet?
Oh yeah,
That
I watched it straight away as soon as it came
that was
out
that was
on
cool.
stream. That is so inspiring, man.
Man.
Just watching it's like, oh, I want to make my own monsters,
Yeah, and he
right?
still has his first drawing he did of Hellboy, has it in his
Yeah,
house. Yeah, crazy to
that would
think.
be worth millions eventually,
It was
right?
interesting how he put it, in regards to, like, he was just doing it because it was fun and he never thought it was gonna become this thing that it
Yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah.
And I think
He
there's
was right though.
something.
It was silly. It was a silly character.
Yeah, but I think there's something to that, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're going into something thinking like, I'm doing this because maybe it's gonna get optioned for a movie or a TV show, that's not really doing it because you're passionate about it or you're putting your heart and soul
Hmm.
into this idea of this thing you love. So I think when you go about it in the way of doing it just because you want to do it and not
Yeah.
because there's an ulterior motive
Yeah.
or
You want to make
plan, like,
money?
yeah, like if it happens as a result of you doing that thing that you love, great. But if it
Yeah.
doesn't, who cares? You're still having fun, you're still doing the thing you
Yeah.
love, right?
That's true. That's yeah. That's I think that's what I got from that documentary. It's like
Yeah.
just do what you love, and if it's gonna be successful, then yeah, well and good. If it doesn't, then it still made you happy. So right,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah, I
cool to
think
to hear from Mike.
that I didn't realize that he had had so much involvement on movie productions as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I was surprised too, especially with Atlantis
Yeah, and Blade 2, I didn't realize he helped
and Blade.
Guillermo del Toro on
Yeah,
Blade 2. So that
yeah,
was that was cool, but how they kind of used that as an in to get Hellboy
yeah,
made, that was really interesting.
yeah. Yeah, I never knew that until I saw the documentary, actually. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, his work has been something that has inspired me for many years because I look at his how he does light and shadow and how he simplifies his artwork, but it's
I
so
don't, I
simple
don't know
that
how
it's
he does it.
advanced.
I don't know how he does it. And
I
when
don't
I
either.
draw, I try to like, get read some of the lines and see if it makes sense. It doesn't make any.
Yeah,
But when he does it, it's like, oh my God, that's so good. But me, it's like, I can't. I have to put lines there to make
yeah.
sense.
What's funny to me too is like his style that he was trying to do prior to that. Like it's really cool. Like if you go find some of the old X Factor books he did and stuff before he developed into that style that he adopted on Hellboy, like it's really good and very unique, but he didn't enjoy it. Like he hadn't
Yeah,
found his voice, right?
yeah. I think um, a lot of his stuff, if you looking at it now, looking at um, his Hellboy stuff, he did mention of Jack Kirby as a big
Yeah.
influence, and now I see it.
Yeah,
Before
I,
I
yeah, I
didn't.
didn't notice that either until I watched
Yeah,
that and then he mentioned
yeah.
that Jack was a big inspiration. I'm like, "Oh yeah,
I
he
can
does
look. I
have
say,
some
oh yeah,
things." Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was a
yeah.
very informative documentary. I was glad I purchased it on Apple because I'm like, I'll
Oh.
put instead of renting, I'm gonna support the
Watch it,
comic guys.
whenever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's a big
actually,
inspiration. Yeah, yeah. Hellboy is uh, it's a big influence on me too.
yeah,
Not kind in the style, in that sense, but that how he built Hellboy is very inspiring.
yeah. Yeah, and had support from his wife and everything in doing it
His
too.
wife.
That was cool to see. Like she was like,
Hmm.
"Well, I guess we're not going to be
Do
making any
whatever.
money." She's like, "I got to go get a. We're never going to move out of this apartment, but I want you to do the thing that you enjoy."
That was nice. That was
And
nice of her.
now look at him. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
enjoyed the first two movies as well. Like I know he didn't so much. It sounded like he didn't so much like the second movie, but
The second one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
still
think
enjoyed it.
Guillermo kind of made it his own and
Yeah.
not about Mike anymore by the sound of it. I mean, with the first one, it's more of collaborative.
Yeah.
between Mike and Guillermo. But the second was like, this is my thing now.
But it was
Guillermo says,
interesting how Mike,
yeah,
kind of talked about that and said that he realized that he needed to let Guillermo do that
like,
and put
yeah,
his stamp on it and make it his own for it to really thrive. So
yeah,
that was kind of cool. Yeah, we
yeah.
don't want to give up too much because now nobody's going to need to rent or buy it. We're giving away all the best parts.
Well, this part they're in YouTube anyway.
Oh yeah, true,
Like
true.
bits of them you can see on YouTube.
Yeah,
So
everything's on YouTube, man.
you can probably watch everything in YouTube, like, just do them in
It
sequence.
is. It is.
Just know the sequence
Did
of it.
you ever have the old VHS tapes of the comic book greats with Stan Lee,
Yes,
like the
I
Will
have those.
Spartasio one
Yeah,
and the Todd and
I have the
Rob, and
Portasio. I have Jim's.
you can't see
I
because
think
they're
I have
so
the
far
ink.
in the background. But if I aim my finger right here, that's where they are down there on the old VHS. I have a VHS player, but it's not connected anywhere.
Yeah,
But I have those, and now they're all on YouTube anyway.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think ours was a bootleg edition. Somebody
Okay.
bought some VHS from the States, made
Yeah.
copies, and then just put it on a nice box to say it was official, but it
Yes.
wasn't
Yes.
official.
I remember
Yeah,
just
I got
poring
those too.
over those, trying to get any tidbit of, and I remember being so disappointed with the Todd McFarlane one because he like drew like a goofy stick figure and like he was like, "Yeah, I just
He
do
likes to
this."
talk though.
I'm like,
Todd likes
"Oh
to
man,
talk. That's all he wants to do.
he does, he does." Yeah, hopefully one day he'll be talking on here. I think he'll
Oh,
end
there
up
you go.
coming on here eventually.
That'd be nice, man.
Yeah, yeah. I used to work at the comic book shop that he co-owned with his brother-in-law here in
Oh, really?
Washington State. So I would get to, he won't remember it, but I would get to hang out with
Yeah.
him when he would do store signings and stuff. And so, yeah, maybe I
I've
have a
I've
little
seen a
bit of
lot
an
of
in.
yeah. I've seen a lot of interviews of Todd. Not just from like famous podcaster and stuff, but
Yeah, I noticed that.
everywhere.
Yeah,
I think he just tried to like
my friend
reach out to.
West Coast Avengers is his channel. He had
Hmm.
Todd on, and that was like his goal when he
Yeah.
started his channel because he's such a huge McFarlane fan, and he was able to get him to come on. So it was really cool to see like how special that was for Dave getting to interview his idol basically in the comic book
If you
world.
come to SDCC, he's here all the time,
Yeah.
and he like goes around the floor. Maybe if you meet
I
him,
saw
you'll
he was
probably,
just at New York
yeah,
Comic Con too. Yeah, and he
he's
met
everywhere.
the director of the new Venom movie and Tom Hardy. He like surprised them and popped in.
Hmm.
Just saw that on Instagram today.
Did you watch any of the
Pretty
Venom one?
cool. I don't know. He told them he likes them, but who knows? Who knows if he's
Maybe he's
watched them or
making a
not?
toy.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
he's
could
making a
be.
toy.
He is. Did you see those toys he's doing? Recreating some of his iconic covers for
Yeah,
Marvel.
I got oh, it's not here. It's upstairs. I got the Wolverine one.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah.
I was very tempted to
Um,
get the Hulk one.
yeah, that's nice too. The Captain America is nice. That's another
Yeah,
one.
I like how they did like the line work on the figure and
Yeah,
stuff. It turned out pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if they call, I have my own version. I call it Sketch Edition.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Well, listen, my friend, I don't want to keep you on here too long. I want to give you the opportunity to let everybody know where they can find you online, what you're working on, what to look forward to in the future. I'll make sure to include all that in the podcast description and everything so people can check out your work and give you a follow.
sure. Thank you. Uh,
What's
so if you're around the interwebs, check my Instagram, IG Gawakoto. And if you're interested in some toys, Sofubi toys, that would be www.gawakoto.com. And I do some jiu-jitsu stuff as well, some rush guards, shirts, and if you're interested, you can grab them too. I would really appreciate it. Or just follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Just Gawakoto, Gawakoto. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome, brother. Well, thanks for being on here with me tonight. I
Thank you,
appreciate you.
James.
Hang out with me
Thank
for a
you.
few moments. I'm going to hit the outro in a moment. I want to remind everybody to, again, I keep telling you guys, we have audio version and video version of this podcast. Video version is over on youtube.com/@Nerdy Mewzings. Musings is spelled Mewzings. I always encourage you guys to watch the video version because all these people I have on have awesome collectibles that they show off on most of the broadcasts here. Some of them even have creations like Bong has here of his figures and always cool original artwork. I can't help but show off some of my books on the on the streams too. So make sure you guys go there. Make sure you check out the audio version over on any of your favorite audio podcast platforms. And in the meantime, guys, keep it nerdy.